Hey bookies, you know who it is. It's your girl back with another video. It's Adira bringing joy to you no matter where you are, in your living room, on your couch, in your bed, because it doesn't matter, because the joy has arrived. And today we're going to do a nail video while I share some crazy Reddit stories that I've seen. Okay, without further ado, let's dive in. This thread is called, "What is the most terrifying thing you've ever seen or heard?" Okay, it says, when I was young, I had the same dream every night for years about drowning when a huge wave swept over me and I sank to the bottom. Years later, I had a temp job delivering mail one summer during college. I saw an old lady sitting on a front porch waiting for me. When I got up there, she looked at me and said in a foreign accent, "You drowned when the Oceana sank beneath the waves." Freaked me out. I'm not going to die? Yo, that would have I would have had to go home. Like, the mail can't get delivered. I would have had to go home that day, because what do you mean? Like, how like, who sent you? Because who sent you for real? Next one says, a woman posted about being alone at home and she let her dog out. Moments later, she heard her dog scratching to be let in, but something stopped her from opening the door. She looks through the peephole and it was a man pretending to be her dog. What? Yo, that something was God telling her not to open that door. Yo, God knows what would have happened if she would have opened that door. And why would you pretend to be my dog? First of all, where's my dog? Second of all, why are you pretending to be him? Next one is, I read a story about a girl and her dad who went out fishing. A bear attacked them and killed the father. The daughter was then dragged back to the bear's den and eaten. This took multiple hours and the girl was alive and conscious during most of it. She kept calling her mother. Her mom had to sit there and listen to her daughter die for multiple hours. Oh, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I would have had to go to therapy after that. Like, yeah, that... I can't even fathom listening to my child, somebody I carried in my stomach for 9 months, get eaten by a bear for hours, and there's nothing I can do. No, that's wild. Y'all, I am getting chills reading these. This one says, registered just so I could post this. I was about 14 and babysitting at the house next door. Kids finally went to bed and I was in the kitchen raiding the fridge. Heard a noise and saw the doorknob of the back door jiggling. That, first of all, grab the kids. We got to go. Back and forth, I was paralyzed with fear. Just then, the phone rang and I snatched it up. My dad was on the phone asking if everything was okay. I choked on the phone asking, oh, wait a minute. If everything was okay, I choked out a negative and he was over in a minute, checking things over. All was okay. He said he just had a feeling that he should call. That was the last time I ever babysat there. Kudos to you, boo. I am so proud of you, because first of all, yeah, I know, that would have been it. And then, God be moving. You mean to tell me your dad had the feeling at the exact time? Can I get an amen? Won't he do it? He said he would. I stayed in a sleep-in once in Auburn, Alabama. I was sitting on a sofa by the bed and heard a noise from the bathroom. Chose to ignore it, thinking it was coming from a neighboring room. Suddenly, the TV turns on. Whoa. I got up thinking I sat on the remote. Nah, you know you ain't sit on the remote. Nope, remote is by the TV. I turned the TV off and sat back down. Another noise from the bathroom. Definitely the bathroom. I go in there and the effing tub is on. I turn it off and start freaking out. I call the front desk and start explaining what just happened. On the other end, I hear tons of crackling and a voice say, "I'm sorry, sir, can't understand." I ran downstairs to the front desk and explained everything again. The receptionist laughs her butt off and gives me another room. I ain't gonna lie, she would have had to shoot that fade. Because what's funny? Like, what's funny? Because what you being messy for? Responded to a 911 call of a frantic neighbor with a girl that reported her mom was severely injured. Get on the scene and find out the ex-boyfriend knocked on the door. The young girl recognized him and let him in. He said, "Thanks, where's your mommy?" She pointed to her bedroom and he proceeded to stab her multiple times in the face and chest. He then told the daughter sorry and slit his own throat. Yo, what? That is some Lifetime stuff. Like, that's really crazy. I actually like this one. It says, one time when I was 16, I was home alone eating a Pop-Tart in my basement while playing a video game. And I get a random text from a phone number saying yum. Pop-Tarts. Absolutely no one was home. And the phone number area code was in North Carolina, and I live in Ontario. Yo, first of all, it's so many things wrong with this. Because why are you eating a Pop-Tart in the basement? but second of all, how that would have just threw me. I would have, y'all, mama, I would have thought somebody was watching me through my cameras, and I would have just covered all my cameras. Because what? I used to work the opening shift at McDonald's, so I would get up at 3:30 a.m. to get ready and get there on time. When I was in my kitchen having some cereal, I looked out the window to see headlights pointing straight into the kitchen window at me. It was a cul-de-sac behind my house. No reason for anyone to be parked at the angle, especially that time in the morning. Whoever it was stayed there as long as I was in the kitchen with the lights on. As soon as I finished eating and turned the lights off to go get my pause. You've seen a car in your driveway or whatever the case may be, lights pointing at you, and you still walked outside and got in your vehicle. I'm sorry, but yeah, no, that's insane. It has to be a brain cell missing. It has to be, because there's no way that you could get me to come out of the house. What? To go get back in my vehicle, the car watching me backed up and started driving around to my house. When I got in my car, this vehicle was driving past me incredibly slow. At first, wait, boss, I just thought about it. She said she worked for McDonald's. McDonald's wouldn't have seen me that morning. What are you talking about? That rising? Yo, I would not be at McDonald's unless you finna come get me. No, you won't see me, because it ain't. No, that job is not. No, hell no. Okay, this one is called "My Wife Has Been Peeking at Me from Around Corners and Furniture." It says, "My wife, Lynn, and I have been together for 6 years and married for 11 months. Our entire history together has been very normal, and never once have I noticed any weird behaviors or red flags. I can't stress enough how out of character this whole thing is for her. Lynn is very kind, intelligent, and thoughtful. She's always been the no-nonsense type of person. Being childish or trying to scare me is not something she'd normally do. She doesn't even like watching horror movies. When we first started dating, she'd agreed to watch The Shining with me because she knew how much I loved horror. She was so scared that she didn't even make it through half of the movie before we had to turn it off. She isn't into anything creepy and has never been into pranks. It's just not her cup of tea, and that's fine. But what was just so strange about this is just so unlike her. I should also add that she never had any mental health issues as far as I'm aware. It doesn't run in her family. I know some people are able to hide their mental health problems, but in the 6 years we've been together, I think I've seen some sign. She had the lid propped up just enough so that only half of her face peeked through. She'd been grinning like an excited toddler. It was unnerving. I didn't even know what to say to her. All I could do was stare. When I finally found my voice, I asked her why on earth was she doing this. She didn't answer, but she had slowly closed the lid, shutting herself inside the trunk. I just walked away feeling disturbed. Y'all, I'm scared. I didn't understand why she was doing it, but it clearly made her happy. I just hoped she would tire of the game quickly. Lynn didn't peek at me for the next 2 weeks. I started to think she was done with her weird prank, and I was relieved when we were watching a show on Netflix one night, and I jokingly said that I hadn't seen her peeking at me lately, and that she must have given up on her spy game. She looked up at me with a small smile and said, "Maybe I've just gotten better at it." Whoa. I didn't say anything, but I wondered whether or not she was joking. Somehow I found the ability to pull the bathroom door open, and I ran as fast as I could all the way down the steps, snagging my keys and phone from the table in the living room before running outside in my car. I could hear her shrill laughter behind me, but I didn't hear her getting closer. I didn't bother shutting the front door. I drove away from the house faster than I legally should have, shivering the entire time, either from fear or the cold, maybe a little bit of both. I hadn't grabbed a coat or even a pair of shoes. I was still in my boxers, and and my hair was damp. I drove straight to my brother Chris' house about 40 minutes away, ignoring any and every call and text I got. I didn't check my phone until I was safely parked in my brother's driveway. Lynn had called 4 times and sent a flurry of texts, all wondering where I had gone or why I left like that. I ended up staying with Chris and Rebecca for another night. I didn't wake up yesterday until afternoon, and thankfully I didn't see Lynn's face watching me through the window. I don't want to pry because it's not my place, but is this fight something that can be mended? Rebecca asked. She made us both a sandwich for lunch, and I knew she wanted to broach the subject without seeming to be nosy. I don't know, she's like a different person. I said, choosing my words carefully. I still wasn't ready for her and Chris to know the full extent of the bat crap craziness I had been dealing with. People change, Ben, but she's still the same woman you married. Maybe you both just need to talk through your issues. Whatever's going on, I'm sure it can be fixed. I think it's beyond that now. I don't think talking would help. I just don't trust her, I said. The words stung in my heart. I miss and loved my wife. But how could I live with someone like that, living in constant fear? Didn't sound too appealing. I really didn't want to talk to her at all, but I had to talk to someone, and someone who knew Lynn better than I did. So I grit my teeth and did what I had to do. Yes, she answered, already sounding irritated. Marianne, it's me, Ben. Do you have a minute to talk? I asked. I could hear her cluck her tongue in irritation. I'm in the middle of writing some checks, but if you insist, I suppose I can spare a moment. What is it that you want to discuss, Benjamin? She said coolly. It's about Lynn. She's been acting strangely, and I was wondering if you had any idea whether there was something. I was quickly interrupted. It's a bit difficult to follow your rambling, Benjamin. What is it that you want from me? She asked. I could almost see her standing there in her thin sweater and slacks, tapping her fingernails impatiently on the table. I wanted to know if you'd ever noticed any odd behavior, or possibly any mental health issues. I asked. There was a long, uncomfortable pause that I couldn't tell was because she was just thinking or something else. Finally, after a few seconds, she spoke. I'm not sure if this is one of her jokes, Benjamin, but if so, I don't find the humor in it. Now, I do have business to attend to, as I've said. So if you don't mind, she said, but I cut her off before she could get through. Man, I thought I had it bad with Becca's shoe addiction, but F me, your wife is in here collecting eyeballs, Chris said, gagging. Ben, I think we should go. He called from the hall. I'm getting nauseous. All right, I grabbed my duffel and shut the closet door. On my new nightmare, I stepped out into my hall and took a deep breath of air. I could taste the rot on my tongue. I couldn't help but gag. Who the F lines up eyeballs in their closet like that? I tried to tell you she needed help, I said. She doesn't need help, Ben. She needs an exorcist, he said. You come our way. I can't stand the smell any. His words died in his throat, and his eyes grew wide with fear. I didn't ask him why. I could feel it. Someone was watching me, and I didn't think it was the eyes in the closet. I turned around. My eyes slowly scanned the bedroom. Chris, I whispered, as I finally saw that we missed under the bed, curled on her side, watching us with excitement of a kid on Christmas morning, was my wife. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. We gotta pause because I am scared. I'm gonna pick it back up on my next nail video, but I am scared out my mind.
I hate when she do that and she leave it. Like, why don't?
Second of all, why are you under their bed looking, bro? I can't. Like, I just literally had to turn on my lights because I am terrified. And that's not even my wife. But it's just like,
I don't know why she leave it there.
The way my imagination is set up, I could picture that. Like, I could vividly picture her doing that. And that's a no. The way I would have had to hit my husband up over the head with a Bible and some anointing oil, because baby, no, you're not gonna do this. The way I would have had to drop my husband off at the church, matter of fact, at the pulpit, and then lock him in the church. You cannot leave until whatever is in you is out of you. The way I never spoke tongues in my life, but I would figure it out.